January 1861, and they had a divided Congress. The nation was separated by hatred and open conflict. Southern leaders and businesses wanted to lead the country. They wanted the states to be independent while also wanting a weak federal government that serves the states, not the public. The northern leaders weren't budging, even if it resulted in war, because they wanted a more powerful federal government to centralize power on every level. The biggest fight was over slavery, but not because of morality. The South had kept it legal while the North focused on factories, but slaves counted as 3/5 of a person they get. The slave states more delegates in the House of Representatives. Each side was eyeing control of the new states in the West, and once they decided freedom of slavery, that side would control the rest. But the nation had elected President Lincoln, so the South and secessionists finally decided they wanted out. The rebels were traitors, justified a war against Americans they had instigated. Don't label them patriots, cause they wave the flag of a hostile nation full of racists. The rebels were traitors, waging a war against Americans they had instigated. You call yourselves patriots, but you wave the flag of a hostile nation. Before Lincoln was even sworn in, 7 states had already left the Union, led by South Carolina. United, they formed a new one, the Confederate States of America, led by Jefferson Davis, a slave owner and their first president. And all 11 states would leave, 25 would stay, and war erupted as the Southern forces captured Union bases, seizing properties and anyone loyal to America. The South just had to defend itself until the truce was won. For now, we'll skip the battles and focus on the institutions. Those claiming the South was good should read the Confederate Constitution. It contained 10 references that regulated slavery, and many of the states depicted slaves on their currency. At first, Lincoln didn't want slavery abolished, he just wanted to end the war. So to the South he offered they could keep the slaves if they came back to this country, and any slaves that escaped would be returned promptly. Only as the war went on did he support emancipation, but he wanted to free slaves to go to Liberia for safety. Meanwhile, both sides were at war with the natives like the Dakota War. These were waged in the western states, and so many families torn apart as the South was being routed. Race riots in the North as casualties mounted 5 days after General Lee's army surrendered. Lincoln was assassinated as the Civil War ended. The rebels were traitors, justified a war against Americans they had instigated. Don't label them patriots, cause they wave the flag of a hostile nation full of racists. The rebels were traitors, waging a war against Americans they had instigated. You call yourselves patriots, but you wave the flag of a hostile nation. After the surrender, the Southeast was broken and ruined. 600,000 Americans died in the fight to preserve the Union. That's 200 9/11s, but instead of charged for treason, the government pardoned most Confederate soldiers and their leaders. Slavery was abolished, but for the natives it was the end. And after the states were united, they never would rise again. And the new president, Andrew Johnson, was a former slave owner who sympathized with the South, so he allowed their leaders to take over state legislatures and continue discrimination through the black codes and other racist legislation. Federal leadership was furious, so they passed the 14th Amendment. Then they sent the army to occupy the South for 10 years and stripped those leaders of their rights, and began with Reconstruction, building public schools and colleges, bridges, and even the infrastructure. The free slaves were given rights and conservatives couldn't take it, so they vowed retaliation that's continued to this day. So modern conservatives long for the days of Southern glory, like they saw and gone with the wind, clinging to romantic stories of a simpler time built on lies that were taught as children. In their minds the Civil War never ended, so their agenda of small government and states' rights are nearly the same. Threats as a seed when they don't get their way. And to this day, South Carolina state capitol still flies the Confederate flag in defiance as a statement that they want that country back. The rebels were traitors, justified a war against Americans they had instigated. Don't label them patriots, cause they wave the flag of a hostile nation full of racists. The rebels were traitors, waging a war against Americans they had instigated. You call yourselves patriots, but you wave the flag of a hostile nation. The rebels were traitors, justified a war against Americans they had instigated. Don't label them patriots, cause they wave the flag of a hostile nation full of racists. The rebels were traitors, waging a war against Americans they had instigated. You call yourselves patriots, but you wave the flag of a hostile nation.